my battery died, so I had to recharge it, and I took the opportunity to actually upload the first 1.5 hours of this playthrough. So the Etin attacked Cindrial and did 5 points of damage. She blocked 2. Sorry, he did 7 points of damage. She blocked 2, brings it down to 4. And then she used her shield, which brought it down to 3. So she's now at 4 points of damage. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my card Dark Charm. Play this card on a hero at the start of our turn. Well, we don't do the start of the turn thing. This hero needs to test, and it's Cindrial that we're targeting, and she needs to test Lore, and she fails. So what happens next is I take the Dark Overlord takes control of her, and he can do a couple of things. He can move her or attack with her. She cannot be forced to suffer fatigue or use a potion, but she may be forced to attack herself, and that's exactly what she's going to do. Because she has the most damage, and we're trying to ensure that we knock her out, because if we do, the game ends and the Overlord wins. And we do 4 points of damage, and she blocks 1. And she takes 3 more points of damage, so she's now at 7 damage. That hurt. So this card goes away. And that was now the Etin's turn. Next up is Ashrian. And Ashrian, this Etin has 3 points of damage on him. Is going to move using 1 fatigue. And this means these people are no longer stunned, but this Etin is. So she's now going to use Prayer of Healing. Just for 1, unfortunately. But still, Cindrial recovers 1 damage. And then Ashrian is going to attack. So that was a first action because the fatigue didn't really count as a move action. So what she's now going to do, she's now going to try and attack the minion Etin. Yeah, and that didn't work out so well because she gets 2 shields and she only has 2 attacks, so that didn't work. Okay, but we do not have to worry about him next turn because he's first of all blocking the entrance for this guy and he's also stunned. So that was Ashrian. Next up is Jane Fairwood, who is going to attack this zombie, and that looks good. We have 1, 2, that's enough range. He rolls 0 defense. She does 3 points of damage. He only has 3 health, so actually he only had 1 health left, so he's done. So we're now going to roll the same against this one. And that's, I guess, good enough. He rolls 1 shield. She overcomes that shield because she does 2 damage off the bat, so that's 1 damage. And she has 1 surge, which she's going to use to stun him. And then she's also going to increase her damage by 1 using the 2nd surge, so she does 2 damage after all on this one, and he is stunned. So this means we can actually remove this because they do not get an activation this turn. That was Jane Fairwood. So next up then would be the Widow Tara. Who is going to first bring out George, namely here, and then she's going to attack this guy to just get rid of them, and that's a failure right off the bat. Then George is going to move in. And he's not going to do anything. Well, he's actually going to try and kill the zombie, and he is successful. 5, 6, no defense. So the zombie is also dead. Which now leaves our flesh molder to do his work. So he's gonna use 2 actions, 1 over here, revealing a white token, and a 2nd action, 1 over here, revealing the 3rd red token. So now we have 1 more red token that we need to find. That's the end of this round, except for Cindrial. She gets to go. Sorry, I forgot about her. She's gonna attack the Etin. For a blue and a red. And let's wait for this one to calm down. She does 5 points of damage, which leaves 3. He has 3 points of damage already. He's dead. And then she is not going to do anything, but she's going to stay where she is, and she's going to recover a fatigue. Everything refreshes. And I would love if the Widow Tara came up early this time round, because then she would heal everyone for 1. Okay, so let's see. The Etins go on a 4. That's good. And actually this Etin comes in and we draw another card. Dark Fortune. Next up is the Flesh Molder on 2. We have Ashrian who goes on a 9. Cindrial goes on a 5. The Widow Tara goes on a 7. And we have Jane Fairwood going on a 6. So first up is the Flesh Molder. He's going to use his first action to look at this and burn it. And then he's going to take his 2nd action to burn this one. And it is the 4th red token, which means we have won. Arizon kicks open a secret door as the last of his study ignites. Fixing her eyes on the man, Eliza steps into the conflagration. He responds in kind. Go, he says, you have done well. The secret will die with me. He charges forward, dagger raised. They dance amidst the smoke and flame for a moment. Then Eliza steps close to the man and embraces him. He struggles to break free, but she drags him down into the flames. You seal the door and retreat down the passage. Dun, dun, dun. Now, we are not quite done. So he's off the board. We'll just remove these ones as well. However, the way I play it is that we're not quite done. The heroes still have to get out, which is over here. So now they need to beat a hasty retreat because the Ettins are going to move in. So it's the Ettins' turn now. And this one's going to go 1, 2. And he's going to attack. And he's going to start with Sindrial because Sindrial has only 6 health left. And he hits for 3. She uses her shield, so he hits for 2. And he's also going to play Expert Blow, which increases his hit potential by 2, so he does 4 points of damage. 6, so she's now on 10. And that's all he can do. Next up is our friend down here, the Ettin, and he's gonna leg it up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Whoops. And he actually drew the dash card because I forgot to draw a card, so he gets to do one more. 1, 2. So here we are. Good. So that was the Ettin's turn. Now everybody needs to beat a hasty retreat. Next up is Sindrial, and Sindrial is gonna run. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all she's going to do. And she's going to spend 2 fatigue to leave the board. 1 out. Next up is Jane Fairwood, and she's going to run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she's going to spend 1 fatigue to get off the board. Scot-free. Next up is the Widow Tara. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She can't spend... Well, she could spend 4 fatigue, which is going to 1, 2, 3, 4. She's off the board. George is going to 1, 2, 3, 4 block the entrance. He's got 2 movement. And lastly we have Ashrian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she's going to spend her last fatigue to get off the board. So now we do have 1. We still had 1 knockdown left. So the heroes have won. Now let's see what happens. Win or lose, each player receives 1 XP. If the heroes win, they receive 25 gold per hero. The next available quest is Caladan's Crossing. So each of us gets 25 gold. And each gets 1 experience. And of course the Overlord gets 1 experience point as well. Now, for those of you who don't know how you spend experience in this game, you can buy enhancements to your skills. And that's what I'm going to do. So I hope you enjoyed this. Of course, this is not the vanilla way of playing Descent 2nd edition, because Descent 2nd edition without the app is at least a 2-player game, which means you have to have an opponent. But of course you can play it solo. There are different people who have taken up the task of building single player variants, and I have looked at some of them and I took some pointers, but then in the end I decided to not use them because I didn't like the automated AI storytelling mechanism, because the AI was too stupid. And to me, this is actually like a skirmish game and has a lot of tactics involved, but the AI would completely ignore the tactics. So I decided not to go for this, but to really play like the Overlord would play, but in order to bring in some randomness, because if you take turns like first the heroes go, then the Overlord goes, that actually takes away a lot of the possibilities that could liven up the game. And so I decided to do it slightly differently after I had watched a number of playthroughs of Gloomhaven. Now, those of you who know how Gloomhaven plays will know that Gloomhaven has a deck of cards for activation. And I think it's completely monster specific, so I don't know how many types of monsters there are, but it seems like each monster type has its own activation deck. So first you pull the initiative, and I think the one with the highest initiative goes, or the highest number goes last. Which means that, you know, after this has been drawn, you could have people alternating. So you could have the monsters go, and then the heroes go, and then the monsters go again, and so on and so forth. And I really liked that idea, which is also a little bit more like the app, because in the app you do not have this straight split between the monsters go and then the heroes go and then the monsters go and so on and so forth. But I think they actually alternate in a way as well. I don't know if it's the heroes go and then all of the monsters go and then the heroes go again and then all of the monsters go again. I'm not quite sure, but at the end of the day, this is how the game plays, and I just decided to go this way. And this is the first time that I'm actually playing with the initiative chit pull that I invented, or well, I didn't invent it because that's something that you find in other games as well, but that I basically repurposed for this game. And I'm actually quite happy about the result, because it does mean that the result can be quite close and that you might end up with a lot of issues down the road. So I'm very happy with how this went. And yeah, so now I'm going to take note of where we are at, and I'm going to look at everybody's experience points, and I'm going to look at possibilities of spending the experience and how we will move forward from here. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I wish you a pleasant day.